Welcome to the Habitat section of your virtual fishing clinic, where you will learn about different fish habitats in Florida and why protecting them is important for preserving fish populations. I'll give a brief overview of lakes, estuaries, and coral reefs. Florida has approximately 7,800 natural lakes and more than 10,000 miles of rivers and streams. The lakes range from very small to the nation's fourth largest natural lake, Lake Okeechobee. All are important resources that provide homes for Florida's abundant freshwater fisheries. These lakes are home for bass, blue bream, black crappie, shellcrackers, stripers, red ear sunfish, speckled perch, and catfish. The typical nutrients found in lakes in Florida are phosphorus and nitrogen. The amount of these nutrients in the water depends on general lake productivity. Plants and phytoplankton need nutrients to grow and enhance the aquatic wildlife. A clear and blue lake does not always mean it is a healthy lake. The health of a lake depends on how it was formed and any abnormal problems, such as pollution, that are occurring. Excessive amounts of nutrients create unhealthy lakes. When a body of water becomes overly enriched with nutrients and minerals, in other words, eutrophication, the plants will overgrow, depleting oxygen in the water, which may result in fish death. Excessive nutrients in waterways commonly come from runoff near fertilized lands. Estuaries are areas where rivers meet the sea. They are among one of the most productive ecosystems in nature. In Florida, estuaries include habitats such as mangroves, seagrasses, and salt marshes. These are very productive areas where freshwater and saltwater mix together to form brackish waters. Mangrove forests are a distinct saltwater woodland found throughout the tropics and subtropics. They grow in coastal intertidal environments and are able to tolerate a wide range of saline waters from nearly fresh to very high salt content. Florida's mangrove forests primarily consist of 4 trees: red, black, white, and buttonwood. Mangrove forests are important because they provide critical habitat for adult fish and act as nursery habitat for juveniles. They also stabilize the shoreline and help prevent storm surge and erosion damage to coastal property. Mangroves help maintain water quality and clarity by trapping sediments, absorbing nutrients, and removing pollutants from land that would otherwise harm the coastal ocean. Mangrove roots provide an ecologically important habitat for a wide variety of fish. Jacks, sheephead, gobies, and small Goliath grouper, as well as many other species of fish, can be found among the tangled roots of the red mangroves. Mangroves are important nursery areas for the sport and commercial fishing industry. Gray snapper, spotted sea trout, and red drum are among the species that utilize the mangrove primarily as nursery areas. The mangrove roots in shallow waters offer shelter from predators until the juveniles reach a size large enough to avoid most predators. These 3 species mentioned above are highly prized sport fishers. As mangrove habitats are destroyed, the sport and commercial fisheries decline as a direct result. Of the 60 species of seagrass found worldwide, 7 grow in Florida waters. The most common are shoal, manatee, and turtlegrass. Widgeon, star, and paddlegrass are less common, and Johnson seagrass is found only along Florida's southeast coast and is listed as a threatened species under the Endangered Species Act. Despite their name, seagrass are actually not grasses at all, as they do flower and produce oxygen like land plants. The depth at which seagrass beds are found is limited by water clarity, which determines the amount of light reaching the plant. Light is required for the plants to make food through photosynthesis. Healthy seagrass beds are among the most productive ecosystems and support biodiversity in commercial fisheries. They take up dissolved nutrients and trap sediments in the water, resulting in high water clarity, less erosion, and calmer water currents. Seagrasses are food for a large number of herbivores, including urchins, manatees, and sea turtles. They also provide shelter for juvenile marine organisms and nurseries where juvenile fish and crustaceans mature into adults. Fishes including the tarpon, snook, ladyfish, jack, and Goliath grouper forage in seagrass habitats. Gray snapper, sheep's head, and spotted sea trout and red drum spend their juvenile stage in seagrass habitat, eventually moving on to mangroves as they mature. Other commercially important species, including spiny lobsters, pink shrimp, and stone crabs, also use seagrasses as nurseries. More than 2 million acres of seagrass are found along Florida's coastline and within estuaries. but they have experienced large declines, as well as changes in species and the density and size of the beds. These declines were especially dramatic in areas subject to rapid human population increase and urban development, contributing to increased pollution. Coral reefs occur in less than 1% of the ocean, yet are the most diverse habitats on the planet. While corals may look like plants or rocks, they are built by tiny sea animals who take root on the ocean floor. Their small, soft bodies, called polyps, build a strong skeleton of calcium carbonate like a clam grows its shell. Inside the polyp's body lives tiny one-celled algae, giving the coral their color, food, and oxygen. Not only are the beautiful shapes and colors of corals a magnet for snorkelers and divers, but they also provide an excellent home for thousands of marine creatures, including the fish we love to eat, crabs, clams, starfish, sea turtles, and more. Many commercially important fish species, like grouper, snapper, and lobster, depend on coral reefs for food and shelter. Reefs provide natural breakwaters which buffer shorelines from waves and storms and help prevent flooding, erosion, and property damage. Coral ecosystems are also an important source of new medicines. Despite their great economic and recreational value, our coral reefs are greatly threatened and diminishing due to human and climate impacts.